Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Elevation. It's a post-apocalyptic thriller directed by George Nolfi. The film stars Anthony Mackie as Will, a single father navigating a world overrun by monstrous creatures known as Reapers. Set in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, the narrative explores themes of survival, sacrifice, and humanity's resilience. Now, before I hop into my review, if you want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, I really appreciate it. As a warning, this review will contain some major spoilers, so please continue at your own risk. I'd also like to mention and thank Pixel Scene Media for sharing this movie with me. Lastly, if you want to see me review something, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will do my best to get to it. Thank you. I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. The story begins with a news broadcast detailing the sudden emergence of the Reapers from beneath Earth's surface, leading to the decimation of 95% of the human population. For some reason, the creatures are unable to ascend above 8,000 feet, forcing survivors to seek refuge in high altitude areas. 3 years later, Will resides in the Lost Gulch Refuge at an elevation of 8,460 feet with his son Hunter, who suffers from respiratory issues requiring constant medical attention. When Hunter runs out of air filters, Will embarks on a dangerous journey below the line, the 8,000-foot safety threshold, to find air filters in the Boulder Hospital. Will is accompanied by Nina, a physicist determined to find a way to defeat the Reapers, and Katie, a family friend seeking purpose beyond the confines of the mountain sanctuary. I love the setting of this movie. I live in Utah and I share the Rocky Mountains with my Colorado neighbors. I felt like I was looking at the mountains and forests I grew up camping in. It felt very familiar to me and I love that. It's a nice, rugged, authentic feel. Tone-wise, the movie is predominantly tense and somber, laced with moments of quiet reflection and determination. In a way, it almost feels like A Quiet Place, but not quite. The decisions you make have weighty consequences, especially when you're below the line. I think the film does a wonderful job of balancing the atmosphere with the glimpses of human connection and hope. In other words, the movie isn't too bleak. Thematically, I love the idea of the indomitable human spirit. Despite overwhelming and unfair odds, I appreciate Nina's desire to fight back against the Reapers to give humanity a chance to reclaim what is theirs. I also love how Will is willing to risk his life to save his son. He knows there's a good chance he won't make it back, but he takes the risk anyways. That's a good dad right there, unlike Ben from Speak No Evil. Keep your eyes peeled for that review. Anthony Mackie delivers a compelling performance. He showcases a father's desperation and courage with authenticity. Morenabaccarin's portrayal of Nina is also great. She's kind of the tech of the trio. She's extremely smart and gives her friends an insane survival advantage. For example, she's spent a lot of time studying the Reapers and trying to develop a bullet that can pierce their scales. With her research, she discovered that the Reapers have a magnetic field. If you have a compass on you and there's a Reaper within half a mile, the compass will point to the Reaper. This trick helps the trio survive their first Reaper encounter. The final character worth talking about is Katie, played by Maddie-hasson. She brings a youthful determination and hopefulness to the film that is a good contrast against her older and seasoned counterparts. Together, I think the trio are a solid group to follow. However, I will say there are some moments where the dialogue feels a little forced. It's not necessarily an acting issue, but a writing issue. Which, speaking of writing issues, there's a moment in the climax where Nina helps Will out, but there's no way she could have physically come to his rescue in time. I had my brain off for most of this movie, but seeing that I was like, come on, there's no way. So if you don't mind some rigid writing and some plot armor, then this movie is fun. Visually, the cinematography is led by Shelley Johnson. She effectively captures the majestic yet treacherous landscapes of the Rocky Mountains. There's a lot of drone footage providing expansive views, emphasizing the isolation and scale of the survivors' environment. Other than these drone shots, the cinematography and color grading are pretty standard, and I have no complaints. However, the one complaint I will make is the CGI. When it comes to the Reapers, there are some scenes where they clearly look CGI or out of place. In other instances, they're fine and blend in well. For example, our first encounter with a Reaper is in the opening sequence when Hunter crosses the line and then runs back across. A Reaper chases him and the CGI on it looks off. Specifically, the dust and dirt particles when it stops itself from crossing the line looked off. In another scene, when the trio are traveling through a mine shaft and encounter a Reaper, the CGI was fine. I don't know if there was a lack of budget for the CGI or if the production was rushed, but the lack of consistency was noticeable, at least to me. Speaking of the production, I appreciated that the principal photography took place in Colorado. Again, it made things feel authentic. Some little details I enjoyed were in the Boulder Hospital and in Nina's laboratory. There were medical supplies and chemical ingredients everywhere, which helped showcase how the old world was abandoned due to the Reaper extermination. I mentioned the mines earlier, and I also want to mention that I enjoyed the claustrophobic and dark setting. The scenes had limited visibility, but were lit up well enough that I could easily see what was happening. So again, no complaints from me. The film score, composed by H. Scott Salinas, complemented the narrative's tension and and emotional beats. During action sequences, the music intensified and provided a haunting backdrop during moments of reflection. I think my favorite thing about this movie was the drumming. I think drums are underutilized. They added suspense and tension to scenes and served their purpose well in this film. The other thing I enjoyed in this movie was the sound design. The Reapers were fun. They had a cool design and they emitted some cool sounds. I know if I was in the woods, I wouldn't want to run into a Reaper. I know I said I only had one real complaint about this movie, but I lied. Sort of. It's not really a complaint, but a suggestion on how to take this movie from what it is to something great. The movie lays its rules out with the Reapers fairly well. The Reapers track humans based off of the CO2 they breathe out. Given that fact, it would make sense if the trio wore masks or at least cover their mouths and noses with scarves to minimize their trail. It would also make sense for the group to not talk as loudly as they do. There are moments where the group are having full-blown conversations out in the open below the line. This seems so illogical to me. Overall, I think there are a couple of writing and script elements that could have been tightened and polished to make this movie great. Elevation is a solid sci-fi thriller that combines tense survival storytelling with a grounded sense of place. While the film occasionally stumbles with inconsistent CGI and moments of forced dialogue, its strengths lie in its performances, compelling themes, and atmospheric tension. Anthony Mackie is great as a determined father willing to risk everything for his son, while morenabaccarin and maddiehasson round out the cast with characters who bring depth and purpose to the journey. The film's use of the Rocky Mountains as both a setting and symbol of resilience adds a unique authenticity, especially for viewers familiar with the region, like me. With its drumming score, effective sound design, and exploration of the human spirit, Elevation captures the essence of what makes humanity endure. Despite its writing flaws, the film offers an interesting experience that fans of survival thrillers and post-apocalyptic films will likely appreciate. It's a film that's as rugged and enduring as the mountains it calls home, and for a runtime of 90 minutes, I feel good recommending this movie. Thank you for listening to my review of Elevation. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will do my best to get to it. I'd also like to mention and thank Pixel Scene Media for sharing this movie with me. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.